For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Today, ABC News reporting a suspect is in custody after today's shooting on campus.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Friday. With the draft less than a week away, I'll tell you what the headlines will be the morning after the first round. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
Chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball in 15 minutes from right now. Tim Brando, next hour, we'll talk a little bit about Lee Corso heading off into retirement after one more game with College Game Day. I guess maybe two, because they'll normally do College Game Day on week 0 as well. So if they do a week 0 College Game Day, maybe Corso will be there. But after the April 30th, week 1 College Game Day, Corso will be retiring. All right, it is After Further Review. Glad you're here. We are 1 week away from the NFL draft. I love the draft. Y'all know it. I'm a draft nerd. I'm the guy who watches all 3 days. I sit there with my notebook. I love going through, formerly, the M&D draft report when Mike D was putting out his guide. It was awesome. I love going through where the value picks are in day 3, all that sort of stuff, as much as I do the intrigue of day 1. But the bottom line is you can change your franchise. You can change the organization with a successful draft like that. If you want a relative example, think of the New Orleans Saints. You had back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons, 2014, 15, 16. 2017, you have the greatest draft in the history of the organization, where you land not only starters, but elite-level starters, Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, Alvin Kamara, Trey Hendrickson, Marcus Williams. Up and down that draft, hit, elite-level starters, and just like that, the Saints were back in the playoffs 17, 18, 19, 20, 4 straight years, making a run at it with Drew Brees before Brees retired, and we know what's happened since then. So if you want the reason, the glass half full, the optimistic vantage point for the New Orleans Saints, it's the draft, which it is for every team. Look at Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. You go hit in the draft, you all know it. You can change the fortunes of an organization instantly. Well, one spot where the New Orleans Saints are certainly going to be looking is at cornerback. I don't think this is any great surprise. And there's another player that the New Orleans Saints have worked out. A report from, it was Schultz, excuse me. I want to make sure, I just want to give attribution to make sure that I have it right. It was Jordan Schultz who had the report that the New Orleans Saints went and worked out Korie Black, a cornerback out of Oklahoma State. He notes that Korie Black visited the Ravens and Giants. He'll finish with the Dolphins today on Thursday, but he has also had private workouts with the Saints and met via Zoom with 10 other teams. He had a blazing 4.35 40 and a 39-inch vertical. So you want to talk about relative athletic score, that's a big ding right there with the relative athletic score with Korie Black. 6 foot tall, a Oklahoma State prospect, and you can look at the stats. The thing, though, that's so interesting about him, you go look at Pro Football Focus, for example. This is a guy that this past year, in his weekly grades, graded out very high at Oklahoma State. His overall defensive grade was a 73.9. His coverage grade was a 74.5. His tackling grade was a 70.8. The lowest was run defense, but that don't even matter because he spent the majority of his snaps out on the boundary. As a matter of fact, he spent, of his snaps, 600 of his defensive snaps were at boundary corner. Next closest for context was 44 in the slot. So this is not a slot. This is not a nickelback. It's not a dime. He's not a hybrid safety. He is a boundary cornerback. And the Saints went and worked out Korie Black. So this will be fast. He was in man coverage. Not only did he play boundary, but he was in man coverage on 48% of his defensive snaps this year. So you have a boundary corner with great speed who is used to playing on an island, and also, as Ross Jackson noted in his piece over at LouisianaSports.net, was a shadow for the other team's best receiver the majority of the time, which is why he played 48% in man coverage. So you got a guy that's used to living on an island. And when you look at the draft, we often talk about wants, needs, and musts, right? The Saints kind of need everything. Cornerback is, if you're ranking them, I would argue probably at the top of your needs defensively. Because the two guys that were your starting cornerbacks a year ago in week 1 are both gone. Paulson Adebo now plays for the New York Giants. You traded Marshawn Lattimore to the Washington Commanders. So that meant last year, Kool-Aid McKinstry and Alontae Taylor played largely on the boundary for you. And that's a mixed bag. Kool-Aid was a second-round pick. I believe he is a boundary corner and will play well. Alontae Taylor is not. I like his physicality. I think Alontae Taylor is a safety, and this actually bears it out. Again, to go back to Pro Football Focus, and I don't mean to throw a bunch of numbers at you, but remember, we were just talking about Korie Black, and all of his numbers were in the 70s, 73, 75, his grades. Alontae Taylor's overall defensive grade a year ago was a 45. His coverage grade was a 35. His tackling grade was a 36. Like, his run defense grade was an 82. Very good. Very good in run defense, because that's what Alontae Taylor is. He's a box safety. He's a physical player at the line of scrimmage. He could probably play safety for you. He is not a boundary corner. But when you traded Lattimore and Adebo got hurt, you had to have someone go play boundary corner, and he did. Ended up playing 605 snaps at corner, 358 snaps in the slot. All that to say, you don't have to remember any of those numbers. Just understand that was context to say Alontae Taylor's not a cornerback in the NFL. When you ask him to play corner, he's very bad. But you want him to provide run support, play in the slot, he can do that pretty well. You want him on the boundary? No go. So you've got to go address that. You didn't do it in free agency. You're going to do it in the draft here. And maybe add someone else after you start to see cuts and things like that after the draft as well. But if you're looking for a starter, you're probably looking in this draft class with someone to complement Kool-Aid McKinstry. And Korie Black's another one that they worked out. Now, you look at the number of workouts, the cornerback workouts that the Saints have done, there's a good number of them. Will Johnson is from Michigan, is going to be the first cornerback taken in this draft. And he may very well be there at 9 when the Saints pick. And I understand all this Shedeur conversation, and y'all know where I stand on it. If they take Shedeur at 9, I'm going to be good with it. But if you take your quarterback at 9, then you are going to have to be looking at a position like cornerback or receiver at 40, provided you stay there. So, if you want to look at, I just pulled up, like, for example, Field Yates, right? Field Yates has his final big board. These are his top prospects in the draft. He's got Will Johnson as the 10th overall prospect in the draft. So, like, that's a prospect that if he's there at 9, you take him, I'm pumped because you have a starting cornerback. And I say it all the time, quarterbacks, those who protect quarterbacks, and those who affect quarterbacks are the most premium positions in the NFL. So quarterback, left tackle, defensive end, and then to a lesser degree, receiver, cornerback. So you can get an elite level boundary coverage cornerback. You love it if that's there. Yeah, I'm just kind of scrolling this Field Yates piece, and you look at the best corners available in the draft after Will Johnson at 9. He's got Jade Barron from Texas as the 18th best prospect in the draft. So that's someone who probably isn't going to be on the board when you pick at 40. Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback out of Kentucky at 22. You start to look and go, all right, well, who's going to be hanging around at that position when you get to 40? That's the more interesting conversation. Another guy that the Saints have worked out is Siobhan Revell out of East Carolina. He's gotten a lot of play and pub here leading up to this draft. So that's another guy to keep an eye on in round 2, potentially. For what it's worth, Field Yates has Revell number 51 overall as a round 2 grade. Benjamin Morrison, the cornerback out of Notre Dame, could be in that mix at 40 or as you move into round 3. Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. Just some of the names worth mentioning as you get there. Trey Amos from Ole Miss is another guy that the Saints worked out. So when you're just looking, if you're compiling the list of players that the Saints either brought in for a top 30 visit, went to their pro day, had a private workout with that player, Will Johnson, Trey Amos, Siobhan Revell, Korie Black, like these are the names you have to be considering when you're watching the draft and you see best available, right? And you're thinking, could the Saints be thinking corner here? These are the names you got to be thinking about who might be on the board at the time they're picking. Because if you're going through the trouble of the financial commitment of flying someone into your facility to work them out privately, flying your staff to their pro day to go do a private workout on their campus, whatever it may be, there's a very clear interest. And cornerback is a spot where New Orleans has got to address. The latest there, again, is Korie Black out of Oklahoma State. Saints held a private workout, according to Jordan Schultz, another name to file away, as we are 1 week away from the start of the NFL Draft. All right, y'all, we're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone over at Relief Windows. Give them a shout. A lot of you probably getting your tax refund check by now. I would always encourage you, man, invest that tax refund into your home. Reinvest that into your home. It'll increase your home's resale value. It'll lower your energy bills. As a matter of fact, they were just awarded the best warranty in the South. Tell you all the time about their lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage over at Relief Windows. A lot of companies can say they offer you a warranty. Have they been around for 20 years living up to that warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage? Relief Windows has. That's why they've been awarded the best warranty in the Gulf South. Like not just in Baton Rouge or in Louisiana, in the entire region. So I say it all the time. If you're just shopping price, don't call Relief Windows. They're never going to be the cheapest. If you want the best, you have only one call to make. 288-8138 or reliefwindows.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on this Thursday. Last day of the work week for us. We'll take off for Good Friday. A great Easter weekend to all of you, and then we'll be back on Monday. So a lot to do still in the meantime. Kendall Rogers next. We'll preview the weekend ahead in college baseball around the SEC. And Tim Brando next hour will be here with us, talk a little bit about his friend Lee Corso. Stay with us here on AFR.
AFR.
So about 3 years ago, we went to my family's crawfish boil on Easter. That's our family tradition. We got home. It was about 5 o'clock in the evening on Easter Sunday. I called River City's 1 Hour Air thinking, all right, I'm going to get an answering service. We got home and our air was out. The home was hot. It was like 90 degrees in our house. We get home. I call thinking I'm going to get the answering service and I'll get front of the line service for the next day because I'm a part of their maintenance club. I'm thinking, all right, I'll just have the first appointment on Monday. Someone answers the phone, a human being, and I had a technician at my house on Easter Sunday evening. And you may say, well, Matt, that's just because it's you. No. The person answering the phone had no idea that I do radio endorsements for River City's 1 Hour Air. That's just what they do. Nights, holidays, and weekends, they'll come out. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
He's really athletic. I see an improved player from a year ago. You could see the physical talent and skills, but he plays with a lot of confidence. Seems like the guy they look to offensively and defensively. Good presence in the field at shortstop, hitting with power. I believe he has 15 home runs. Really good player.
Yeah, Justin LeBron. Jay Johnson, by the way, talking about Justin LeBron, the Alabama shortstop. I was kind of going over some notes with a scout buddy of mine who said LeBron as a sophomore is the best prospect in the SEC. Is the odds-on favorite to be the first pick in 2026, and probably, his words, would probably be the first pick in this draft. So that's the level of talent you're dealing with that's coming to the box this weekend there in Justin LeBron. A guy who's seen him plenty is Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Good to have to join us for a couple of minutes. How are you, dude?
I'm doing awesome. How about yourself?
Doing really well, man. We appreciate you for being flexible with us today. Hey, you got a comp on LeBron, like at this point in his career, how he plays, just what you think, where he fits, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, this is a very lofty comp on him, but I mean, some people have kind of compared him, like some scouts I've talked to compared him to Jeter a little bit. I mean, that's a pretty sure. I even hate like mentioning somebody with Jeter, but I mean that's kind of the skill set, kind of the athleticism he has. I'll tell you what, I've watched him several times this year, and like I agree with you. I think to me, when he is clicking, he's the best player in college baseball. He's got just an absolute cannon at shortstop. He's a premier defender up the middle. He's got range. He's like an 80 grade makeup guy, and I love everything about him. So yeah, that's obviously going to be a big key this weekend to keep Justin from getting a groove against the Tigers at the box.
Kendall, I want to kind of dive into this series in a bit, but let me go back for a second if I could. Watching LSU get swept at Auburn, what was your takeaway from that?
My takeaway from that was I was really surprised that LSU's offense didn't do more. I think we talked about this last week a little bit, but I really thought that LSU's offense matched up very well with Auburn. So, one thing might be true here, that LSU's offense just had a down weekend, or maybe Auburn's pitching's a little better than we thought. Kate Fisher threw really well. That was probably his best start of the year. Great timing for LSU fans. But, I mean, that was his best start of the year. Sam Dutton, obviously he's going to be amped up playing the Tigers, and he pitched really well. But, Andres Alvarez threw pretty well for Auburn as well. So, I mean, they pitched a pretty high level. But, for LSU's offense to be as quiet overall as it was throughout the weekend was definitely a little disappointing. I was expecting more production over the weekend.
We'll come to this weekend here in just a quick second. But actually, I guess we can just start there then. So how do you see LSU matching up with Alabama?
Well, I mean, Alabama and Auburn are very similar to me. Like, I kind of felt like LSU had the massive advantage, with the offense going against the pitching staff. But, I mean, after last weekend, we'll kind of see. I do think being back at the box will help LSU, obviously having the home crowd and things like that. But I think the big key against Bama is they really, really like to have a position to where they can go to Carson Osmer out of the bullpen. The Ivy League transfer has been really good for them out of the bullpen and the closer role. It's fastball with glove side life. That the fastball is always moving somewhere. It's never in the same spot. It's just a really weird look late in the game. So, if you're LSU, you definitely want to have a lead late, because if not, going against him, it's a challenge. So I think, again, I think if you're Jay Johnson, you're wanting the offense to get right. And by the way, you're wanting Bear Jones to kind of go off power-wise this weekend. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you look back at his stats in conference, and he's only got one home run. There's no way that is going to stay the case.
Especially as the weather gets a little warmer. It's 82 degrees right now in Baton Rouge. I think the ball might fly a little bit this weekend. Hey, one more.
I think this weekend might be a different story.
Yeah. Hey, one more. I wanted to ask about Zane Adams. It's been rough the past two Fridays. They're going to pitch backwards. Just a thought on him, and then what Coach Vaughn is doing at Bama this weekend. You're just sort of reversing his order.
Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of wonder if they're wanting to take some pressure off Adams. I mean, the thing about Adams is, I really like his arm. I mean, it's at the 93, 94. It's a really good breaking ball when he's on. I actually saw him really well at A&M several weeks ago. But clearly he's just been a little off at times. And, the problem with him is his stuff is good. It's not excellent. And in major college baseball, it's a really good lineup. If you're not excellent and you're just average, you're going to get hit, especially in that conference. That's going to be the big key for him is can he, even as they're pitching backwards, can he be more consistent with the breaking ball? If he can be a problem. I mean, it's good stuff. It's just not great stuff.
Yeah. LSU's done well against lefties this year. We'll see. I'm glad you brought up A&M because another very impressive weekend for the Aggies. And now they've won 5 league games in a row since being no-hit by Tennessee. And now their reward is, okay, go to Fayetteville and try your hand at Arkansas. Kendall, a few weeks ago when I was asking you if A&M had it in them to have a heartbeat and get back, your response, and paraphrasing, was effectively, I don't think so because look at the schedule. Well, here you go again.
Yeah.
Are we any closer to believing A&M's got a heartbeat, or is this one where maybe Arkansas kind of puts their foot on the throat?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting closer to thinking they've got a heartbeat. I think any of us, when I said that, I think any of us would have been slightly surprised if A&M would have run-ruled Tennessee to win that series in Knoxville.
Yes! Oh, my God!
Yeah,
oh, my God!
Yeah, I mean,
you want to talk about
dude,
the chart of improbability. Oh, my God!
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to put a win probability on that, if you gave me a percentage, I would have said probably about 1.5%. But, the thing about A&M's been really interesting, and this is why I'm a little closer to believing. I'm not quite there because I do think they struggled out of the bullpen. But what's really scary about them right now is, they got Caden Sorrell back. I mean, there's a lot of scouts. Speaking of scouts you talk to, I mean, there are a lot of scouts out there who would prefer Sorrell over Lavalette if the two guys are both draft eligible this year.
Okay.
So they get him back. And then Bear Harrison, the St. Mary's transfer, he was awful offensively earlier this year. And you don't want to say he's hitting like 412 in conference. And, I mean, he's been almost impossible to get out at times. So, what that's done is that it's essentially has allowed them to use Harrison as kind of their replacement for Grahovic, who obviously is out for the year. So now their lineup is kind of back to where we thought it would be coming into the season. With that said, I have a lot of question marks with their pitching still, and we'll see if they get a little bit of a rude awakening in Fayetteville this weekend.
Harrison was a guy LSU wanted in the portal this year. But
Absolutely.
LSU's going to see them in a week over, or I guess, next week will be Tennessee. Then they're at Tennessee, or at College Station. Yes, so 2 weeks. Let me get to Texas because, Kendall, I keep looking at them going, man, I saw that team, and they weren't great, but how do you argue against 13-2 at the halfway point of league play? They're at home against Auburn. I mean, how real is what we're seeing with Texas?
Yeah, I do think the Horns are playing over their skis just a hair. But I'll tell you what, I really like the vibe of their team. And they're one of those clubs that when you watch them, whether they're on the road or at home, there's never any panic. And when you have a team like that in college baseball, that's a luxury because, it's one thing to have 4 or 5 guys who are just like even killed, but to have an entire team like that is really impressive. I mean, obviously the keys for them, Rylan Galvan behind the plate, a leader, has kind of formed into a premier catcher, a premier offensive guy. Dylan Volantis at the back end. I mean, he was a late pickup. He was a guy that decommitted from USC. Texas is like, hey, we need arms, so let's take him. And now he might be one of the top 3 or 4 relievers in college baseball. So they've had a lot of things go their way, but, give Schloss a lot of credit. I mean, they have played very consistent. They play very clean baseball, and they are going to make you beat them. And there just aren't very many teams so far this year that have gone out there and taken it to them. I mean, the LSU weekend, I didn't think Texas played amazing, but I also didn't think LSU played very well. So what happened? Texas won 2 out of 3 in that series. So they're going to make you beat them.
Kendall, anything else? I mean, I can look at Georgia Vanderbilt as a ranked matchup this weekend, but anything else like really jump off the page? You go, man, watch for that this weekend in the conference.
Absolutely. I mean, Florida and Mississippi State. I mean, we talk so much about A&M making a move, but I mean, for Florida to make the NCAA tournament, this is crunch time. This is a series they've got to have. They still have some tough series ahead, for the Gators. So sitting there at 4-11, they need to win that series at Mississippi State. And I tell you what, I think you guys would agree after seeing them in Baton Rouge. Like Mississippi State, especially offensively, is not bad. Like they're not a team you watch and go, man, they're awful.
Right.
Like they've been very close to winning a lot of games. I think Mississippi State wins that series, and I think A&M and Mississippi State are probably getting in as of today. And that would be 13 teams making the NCAA tournament out of the SEC if that is the case.
I was having this conversation earlier in the show with Tom Hart, and we were having that sort of that. I'm glad you brought that up. I love your thought on how the committee might look at an expanded SEC, right? A 16-team league, and how we have these sort of, Ken, like we have these things programmed in our brain. Like if you get to 13 league wins, usually that's good enough to get you into regional play. You might have to look at the RFA, but like, do you think that changes at all this year with a 16-team league, like it did for basketball, where Texas with 6 wins got in?
Yeah, I think it has to change, and I think what's going to really matter is kind of the, who you played in the SEC. How does the committee value teams that play Missouri? I mean, Missouri probably one of the worst Power 4 teams in college baseball. If you look at the contenders right now in the bubble, Florida has a little bit easier slate, Mississippi State a little bit easier slate, but then you look at A&M, who literally would play every good team in the SEC. That stuff's going to matter when it comes to Selection Monday. But I think when you compare it to the other conferences, there's no doubt there's a little bit more leeway with the SEC, especially with Oklahoma and Texas kind of doing what they're doing.
Give me a thought on something outside of the league, man. What's going on nationally that's worth keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I just think the Big 12 race is really interesting. I mean, Oklahoma State continues to scuff a little bit. Texas Tech, certainly perennial power, is kind of lost in the mix a little bit. And then you got like Kansas and Kansas State that have both continued to really impress out of that conference. That's a big series coming up. And, I guess, out west, Oregon State, everybody kind of wondered coming into the season, from a scheduling standpoint, how's that going to work, not being in a conference? It's worked out beautifully for them. They've also gotten lucky that a lot of these mid-level teams that they played are having really good years. Cal Poly kind of being one of them. So Oregon State's a really interesting storyline for me. And then, of course, UCLA out of the Big Ten looks like a national host type of team right now, too. And it's good to see the Bruins back. I mean, that's a neat brand to see an NCAA tournament year in and year out.
He's Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. I saw yesterday you had a code up for it's like 10% off or something, or maybe 40% off. Is that still good? What you got?
Yeah, Omaha 30 will get you 30% off, and I'll be in Baton Rouge next weekend for LSU Tennessee, so looking forward to that.
Oh, Omaha 30 for 30% off at d1baseball.com. What a great time right now at the halfway point of league play. Omaha 30 for 30% off at d1baseball.com right now. Hey, we'll look forward to having you in town, man. We'll see if we can catch up next week when you're at the box.
We'll see you soon.
All right, be well.
All right, thanks, Matt.
You got it, man. That is Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. It's after further review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Tonight, LSU and Alabama. Ben McDonald will be on the call. It'll actually be Dom Hart and Ben McDonald all 3 nights. Well, Ben McDonald was the first pick of the draft, and his first call when he bought his hunting property in Mississippi was First South Farm Credit. So you've heard Ben on a lot of the First South Farm Credit commercials over the years telling his story. Remember, they can help you buy land in any of the lower 48. So if you want to buy hunting property in Mississippi or 50 acres in St. Francisville or 1,000 acres in Montana, they can help you do that at First South Farm Credit. Terrio's fond of saying, they ain't making more dirt, y'all. This land's a finite resource. You want it as an investment property or a place maybe to go build your family's dream home. You want that recreational property. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit because they've done one thing since 1916. Help Louisianians buy land. FirstSouthland.com. FirstSouthland.com. All right, we are halfway home on this Thursday, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. Tim Brando in 30 minutes. Looking forward to having Timmy B join us to talk a little bit about Lee Corso. It was announced earlier that he's retiring from College Game Day. He'll do week 1, and then he'll retire after that. So he'll have his on-air swan song, which he certainly deserves. Corso's got the right to go out however he wants. So, but it'll be after one more episode of College Game Day on August the 30th. So Timmy B will be here in 30 minutes from right now. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. The funeral arrangements have been announced for Kyron Lacey. And with the Louisiana legislature in session, one lawmaker is trying to put a legal end to day games in Tiger Stadium. I'll explain next on AFR.
AFR.
Man, you're getting jealous, aren't you? Yeah, it's all right. You can acknowledge it. You're getting jealous. It's 83 degrees, and you're thinking about all the people who pretty soon will be heading home after work, jumping in the pool in their backyard, spending those spring and summer Saturdays on the raft, sipping a Mai Tai, margarita, or whatever your pleasure may be, grilling in their outdoor kitchen, just enjoying their outdoor space, their own backyard paradise. Oh, yeah? But you don't have to be envious. I got a secret. you can have that as well. Our friends over at Duplessis Builders can make it happen. Maybe you have a pool that just needs to be remodeled. They can do that. It's Duplessis Builders. One of the great testimonials I ever heard about Duplessis is a gentleman who was going to build a pool. He and his wife, they interviewed 5-6 different pool companies. He said the base model for Duplessis was everyone else's premium product. They're the best. It's duplessisbuilders.net.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Hey, I never met John the third G. Like, you know how to do a Roman numeral? It's like three lines.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
What it says, John, 3 lines G.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Now, it's probably an I. I-L-L-G.
Oh, okay.
Being a little facetious.
Gotcha there.
So it's probably Ilg.
Ilg.
Ilge.
Ilg. I like Ilg.
Maybe it's a silent I. Maybe it's a silent I. It's John Ulg.
Ulg.
Maybe it's 2 L's and a G, so it's like
Ulg.
extra large.
Extra large. I like that.
XL.
John
LLG.
XL.
John or Lulge. I don't know his name. But people in Harahan like him. They elected him to the state to the House of Representatives.
Hey, attaboy, John.
Attaboy. So he's state rep from Harahan. Shout out. And John, what are we going with here?
I like Ilge.
Ilge?
Ilge, or what was
It's probably Ilg.
Ilg. But there's no A after the G.
I-L-L-G. Ilg.
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 Paula, you want to be the deciding vote?
I'm going Ilg.
Ilg. Yeah. G. Yeah. After a consonant. Like in an adverb. No, that's not right. That would be L-Y.
Grammar lessons with Scone.
Yeah. I'm going through my braille. I'm country of origin, please. Anyway, let's go with John Ilg, just so we keep it moving.
Yeah,
John Ilg. Let's go. We'll keep it moving. So, Harahan House of Republican Representative John Ilg has introduced a resolution that would request all LSU home games in September start no earlier than 6 p.m. Can we give it up for John Ilg? Let's go. Thank you, John. There you go, babe. That'd be. I mean, just do me a favor. Look up, Google this right now, please. Okay. John Ilg office address. Every state representative, they have an office. So I want to know his office, where his office is. I don't think that's just for like U.S. senators and representatives. I think for state representatives, they would have an office as well. But I would like to know his office address. If you get it, let me know.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, you got it?
We got it.
Okay, wait, hang on. Let me get my pen. Because I want to send him a fruit basket.
Okay.
As a thank you. All right, go ahead. What is it now?
6387.
6387.
Jefferson Highway. Harahan, Louisiana.
Shout out.
70123.
70123. Okay, 6387 Jefferson Highway, Harahan, 70123. Or as we learned before, all you need is the zip code. So you don't even need to put Harahan. Like you could put Moscona, Louisiana. Were you not here that day?
No, I don't think I was here that day.
We had this whole conversation. Yeah, you could put whatever you want. Because we were talking about it with Luch about St. George. Like, is it Baton Rouge or St. George? Because technically, when they have the city, like I live now in the city of St. George, but I still put Baton Rouge on all my mail. I don't really care. Baton Rouge, whatever. Y'all do you. Just make sure I have nice roads and good schools and all that stuff. The police come when I call them. I'm a taxpayer. That's all I want. But yeah, all you got to do is just put as long as you're like 70123. So I said I'm going to mail something. I want Luch to mail me something to Moscona, Louisiana.
To Moscona, Louisiana. That's it? Just Moscona, Louisiana?
Well, you got to put the zip in there.
And then 708, whatever.
We're 70809.
09, yes.
Yeah.
09.
I want to see if it gets to me.
All right.
Anyway.
Did Luge do it? Wait, I mean, have you received anything?
He hadn't done it. And so when he's with us on Monday,
we're gonna have to ask him.
We have to have a conversation about this. Yes,
I was out. That was the Monday I was out, probably.
Probably so. That's okay, Muse. You were busy sleeping till 11 because that's what adult people do, right?
So good.
Sleeping till 11. I haven't slept till 11 since I was probably 4 years old. What are you doing? Anyway, so John Ilg had, because of what happened last year against UC, what?
We've just gotten so sidetracked through all this, but yes, John Ilg.
John Ilg. So the UCLA game last September is sort of what created this whole conversation. You had people falling out. It was devastating. Half the stadium emptied at halftime. I mean, it was kind of like, you know those rivalry games, like when Texas plays OU at the Cotton Bowl, it's split right down the middle. Half is burnt orange, half is crimson. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Tiger Stadium was like, except it was half was in the sun, half was not. The shaded side was full. The unshaded side was completely empty. It was startling to see. And I remember even tweeting, this is why you don't have day games in September. I said, this is what you get when you have a day game in September. That tweet kind of went viral. And there were some people who pushed back, like, oh, you won't go to a day game? I'm like, no, it's not only a day game. It's because the heat index is like 110. And people, it's dangerous, actually. Acadian Ambulance said there were 70 people that got medical attention due to heat related. That's a massive stressor on the entire event. And then you have people drinking and all. I mean, you know what it is on a game day. So anyway, I love this idea. By the way, it's not like this is altogether unprecedented. The state of Arizona has a law in place that is similar for Arizona and Arizona State, that they cannot play day games in the early months of the season. That's why you never see a day game at Arizona State in September, because it's in the friggin' desert. It's 120 degrees. Oh, but it's a dry heat. Shut up. Anybody that says it's a dry heat, you ain't never been in the desert, you dope. 120 degrees, you will bake your face. Walk out, go to Las Vegas in July, walk outside of your hotel and just stand there for 10 minutes. Tell me how you feel. It's a dry heat. Kick rocks, dork. Anyway, I love this. And I'm calling on all members of the House of Representatives, subsequently the Senate, and then the governor to sign this bill into law so you can go strong-arm ESPN and never put a game in September at 11 a.m. ever again, or 2:30. You just can't do it. Like, the sun's got to go down. It's going to be better for the fans. ESPN has the entire television contract now, so it's not like CBS has the first choice or you're beholden. You got to play at 2:30. CBS, like, I remember back the LSU-Georgia game in 2003. That wasn't just the greatest day game in Tiger Stadium history. That's one of the greatest games in Tiger Stadium history, period. So it's not to say that there haven't been great day games in Tiger Stadium. There have been. And that was, by the way, I'm almost positive that was in September. That was either the end of September of 03 or the first week of October. But I think it was the end of September of 03, because I think the first Saturday in October in 03 was when they lost to Florida. But I could be wrong. You have it?
September 20th.
So it was at the end of September. So you've had great games, but you also have the risk of what happened this year against UCLA, and you got to avoid that. So I love this. And it's, again, not unprecedented. So Muse, please send the fruit basket to Mr. Ilg.
To Mr. Ilg.
Yeah. You think we should go fruit basket?
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Because we're talking about health and hydration. Put some Evermore in there as well.
Let's just send him a bunch of Evermore. Nobody wants a fruit basket.
I would love a fruit basket. Paulie, would you love a fruit basket?
Absolutely.
Who wouldn't want a fruit basket?
I mean, fruit baskets are fine.
I'm sorry. The 30-year-old man who
31.
sleeps till 11 o'clock in the afternoon, or I guess 11 o'clock in the morning. It's not afternoon, it's 11 in the morning.
Stay out.
That's the guy who wouldn't want a fruit basket. I'm stunned by this development.
You didn't let me explain.
That Muse wouldn't want a fruit basket.
Let me explain.
I can't wait to hear the explanation.
I love fruit. Fruit's fantastic. I eat plenty of it, as a matter of fact. But fruit baskets can be rather large, and it's wasteful, just to be honest. Like, you're not going to be able to eat all of that fruit. Let's send something else. I mean, a bunch of Evermore is fantastic. That would be great to send.
A fruit basket, number one, doesn't have to be enormous. They come in multiple sizes. And number two, it's something that you could certainly share. You could keep some at your home and bring some to work and share with other people. There's many different ways to do it. You're sending a fruit basket to the man's office, Muse. It would be anticipated that he would share with his office staff as well. So let's wrap your head around reality here.
I'm sending it to him.
Get out of your little your I sleep till 11 a.m. feelings over here.
Rarely.
Because, well, you did it. And I don't know that I physically
and it was
could.
awesome.
I don't know that I physically could. I don't think I've slept till 11 a.m. since I was wearing PJs.
Brother, it was needed.
No. All right. 6387 Jefferson Highway, Moscona, Louisiana, 70123.
We want to do that. We want to send it to Moscona, Louisiana.
We're sending John Hill. You know what I want?
What?
Let's do this.
What do you want?
I want to put a call out there for our audience to do this. All right, I'm not giving you my home address, but send me mail to Guarantee and so Guarantee's address is 929 Government Street.
Yes.
And it's Baton Rouge 70802. But send it to Matt Moscona, care of Guarantee Media, 929 Government Street, Moscona, Louisiana, 70802. And just see if it shows up.
I actually want this to happen.
I'll open every piece of mail and I'll read them on air.
On air? Yeah.
How about that? That's my if you actually do this, you write a letter, you put a stamp on it, you mail it to Moscona, Louisiana, 929 Government Street, Matt Moscona, care of Guarantee Media, 929 Government Street, Moscona, Louisiana, 70802. How about that?
I hope we get flooded with things.
So good.
That would be awesome.
This would be so good. I hope it happens. But if you send me something as vulgar, then I can't read that. I'll at least have to bleep it.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just edit it.
Yeah.
Censor yourself.
Yeah. It's AFR.
After further review.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Get them by Glow Resources or go to GlowResources.com. If you're a business owner and you want to be more efficient, maybe you're really struggling to find the right person in your job at your place to make your business more efficient. Maybe you're struggling to find people who are responsible, people that show up on time, people that are efficient when they work. You ever had a job where you think, man, that should have been done in 2 hours and it takes 8 hours? Well, what if you had the right people to get that done? I'm telling you, Glow Resources can find them. And while their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, which I love about them, by the way, they've got offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, in New Orleans, in the Golden Triangle, and they service businesses all over the world. So no matter where your business does business, if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
As always, a huge thanks to Blasia and the great team over at Decision Critical. Not just healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com. Set up that discovery phone call at DecisionCriticalBR.com. Musso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Big congratulations to the Bregmans, Alex and his wife Reagan. They did, in fact, welcome their second son on Wednesday. Bennett Matthew Bregman. Strong middle name there. You can see pictures on Instagram. Reagan and Alex both collabed on the post, so if you follow one or both, the pictures are right there.
We're such good friends that they named their second child a middle name after me.
I don't think that's why they did that, but I mean,
why else would they have done it?
I mean, there's plenty of reasons why someone would name their kid Matthew.
Like what?
There's religious reasons. There's plenty. There's
or because, you know, you got a great friend and they're like, that's an awesome name from our great friend and we like it a lot. So, which is actually very common. Tell me how many times you've named a child.
I don't have any kids.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, stay out of business you don't know nothing about.
I
know all about naming kids. I know all about it.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, bingo. Paulie, you know stuff about naming kids? You ever named a kid?
I have.
Yeah, you have? Has Muse named a kid?
I do not believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe you should stay out of it, yeah? You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, stay out of this, Muse.
Just saying.
You don't know nothing about naming a kid.
It's a strong name. I love the name.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah, you don't know nothing about naming a kid.
Jake Fraley.
Congratulations to the Bregmans. Yeah. That's all. I texted Alex earlier today. It's awesome, man. Fired up for him. Our little boy's growing up. Our little boy.
I think he's already grown up, man.
I know. It's crazy.
All right, Jake Fraley went 3 for 5. He was a triple short of the cycle today. Single, double, how about grand slam for the home run for Jake Fraley? Huge day, up to 234. You love to see it. Tommy White.
Hey!
3 for 4 day for Tommy White.
Is he playing in a minor league park too?
He is. He is. With the Lansing Lugnuts.
It'll be no real transition when he gets to the big club.
There you go.
Just keep playing in a minor league park.
That's true. He had a double as one of the 3 hits. That was his third of the season, so that's awesome for Tommy White. There was one more that I really, really wanted to get to. Oh, Cole Henry. Another appearance for Cole Henry.
His name is Henry.
Another shutout inning as well. Pitched the 8th for the Nationals. They lost to the Pirates. Cruz had another hit in that game as well. That's Tigers and the Pros.
We're presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Mother's Day, round the bend. Hey, Muse, you got anything from Marilyn Monroe Musso yet?
I have not, but we have time.
Huh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you're running out of time.
I got a month.
No.
Yeah.
It's less than a month, friend. You got just over 3 weeks.
That's almost a month.
That is not almost a month.
Just over 3 weeks is almost a month.
No.
A month is 4 weeks.
Sometimes. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. For Marilyn Monroe Musso. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
After further review.
What did I miss? Oh, my God. I screwed up.
Parish Restoration.
I totally just took off my headphones.
Hey, you're lounging in the chair, bro.
I was going into break. I was getting ready for what was next. Paris Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, and all that stuff. Come spray your patented non-toxic dry fog at Paris Restoration. They do that stuff over at Paris Restoration. I know. We kind of share an office. Now, they're in the back of the restoration, in the back of the office. Not that it's like a bad thing. There's just like a whole separate building on the back. But we're all in the same location there on Lavo Lane. So when I pull in, I see their Sprinter vans all the time, man. Going out, doing jobs, commercial or residential. I got people just lounging in chairs at their job. No worries. You come in, just step out, spray it. As soon as it dissipates, you're back in. ParishRestoration.com.